wait for Ross. There he is. Hi, audience. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's Wednesday. It's my favorite day of the week, mid of the week. But like we already worked a lot, but we still have 2 more days to go, so we need that energy. I was talking with Russell in the backstage. He's feeling a little low energy, but he said that if he gets a lot of questions in the chat, he will be ready to finish the week. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. While I do my intro here, go into the chat and tell us where you're calling from. We love to hear from you. I see that we have people from Canada already, Pittsburgh. Awesome. Let us know where you are. I'm in Denver, but I am based in New York City. And we are here today to talk about AI and sales. What a hot topic, right? And we have Russell here, our amazing speaker here, and you will get so many great key takeaways from this presentation that Russell just has for us. As I mentioned, my name is Eduardo. I am a community events manager at Modern Sales Pros. And for those of you not familiar with Modern Sales Pros, we are the largest and highest quality community for those in sales management, sales leadership, sales and revenue operations, and sales enablement, aka our Modern Sales Pros. And our mission is to create an environment for the members to answer the toughest revenue questions out there. We have 36K members, and with that amount of people helping you, I'm pretty sure no questions will be left unanswered and no problems will be left unsolved. If you're not part of the MSP community yet, you will receive an email to join us right after this presentation. Um, so let's focus on how to get the most out of this event today. This event is being recorded, so you will receive a YouTube link and also like a landing page with key takeaways and everything that you need to know about this event later today. So look out for an email from me. And also, as I said, Russell is feeling a little bit low energy, so let's send him a lot of questions in the chat. I see the chat popping. Oh, we have people from Mexico City, Houston, UK, India. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. But it's being recorded and also want to hear your questions. So send your questions using the chat functionality or the Q&A panel. We also have a poll today. I will open the poll when it's time to open the poll. Make sure to vote because we want to hear from you, audience. This event is all for you. The great thing about MSP is that we have amazing partners. And today we have Second Nature as our partner. We have Russell here from Second Nature. So Russell, I'm getting your slides ready. Can you please introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your experience and then what Second Nature is all about, and then you can kick the conversation from there.
Terrific. Thanks, Eduardo, and hi, everyone. And thanks to everyone for introducing yourself and the locations that you're all from. And it looks like we've got 3 or 4 continents right now. So it's pretty good representation. As Eduardo mentioned, I'm Russell Zach, and I'm the head of revenue at Second Nature. And Second Nature, specifically as an organization, focuses on allowing revenue team members across from account executives, sales development reps, customer success, sales managers to become more confident and competent by practicing all types of different business-related conversations with AI-powered personas. So in a safe space, individuals can really figure out the best way in which they can master a sales pitch or a difficult conversation, a negotiation. And we have customers across a whole variety of different industries, technology, financial services, insurance, healthcare. And I'm looking forward to your questions today as we're going to go and talk about how to sell smarter, leveraging AI instead of just harder. And I know all of you are sitting there thinking, well, selling is pretty tough today. And we're in a economy where you need to be able to present better ROI, a more focused pitch, a more personalized pitch when you're having your conversations in a sales environment. We're going to talk a little bit about where we are today with AI tools that can help the selling process, best practices on how you can learn to take advantage of these tools, and also what's coming in the future. Feel free to ask me any questions around what we're doing or around the content that I'm about to present. And why don't we get started? So the first thing is what I mentioned is, where are we today? Today, right now, the hundreds of tools that are at our disposal as sales reps or individuals on revenue teams has allowed us to pretty much monitor, create every single aspect on sales activity out there. And AI has even turbocharged a lot of those applications with a variety of different capabilities. And this is some pretty good research from HubSpot. They did a large-scale analysis on selling tools leveraging AI and surveyed a variety of professionals. And you can see that a lot of how AI is being used today is about prospecting and about creating content with the help of AI to reach more of those prospects and those customers that you want to reach with personalized information. And what's surprising about this 72% is that if you had asked business leaders 3 years ago about the ROI on their investment in AI, it would not have been close to 72%. It probably would have been closer to 33%. But we're seeing that immediately now AI tools in the workplace, and specifically for sales, is creating a very positive, or at least somewhat positive, ROI. And where we are, as I mentioned, is the biggest of the big. HubSpot, Salesforce, Microsoft, Google have all integrated AI capabilities into the applications that they're delivering to all of you and that you use on a daily basis. And then on the right-hand side, there are thousands of companies who I like to call AI-first companies. They exist with the purpose to leverage AI as a standalone application to help make you all more productive. Jasper for creating content and specific marketing messages. Synthesia for personalized videos using avatars. Reggie for email and cadences. So you're seeing all of these organizations have AI. So what does that tell you about where we are? Well, it's pretty awesome that we all have access to it. But if we all have access to the same tools, and now in today's phase 1 of AI, broad AI adoption, it also means we have access to the same recipes and ingredients. And what I mean is that when you're creating a customized message, let's say using Reggie to target an individual user, everybody else also has access to that same tool. So how can you leverage the tools to make sure that you can showcase how good a chef you are? The individual who you're competing with at your competitor also can be using the same AI tools to make their information much more personalized. And the big curveball in using these tools is that, guess what? There may be limitations around the use of AI, which is as powerful as AI has become and how well you can leverage it in order to enhance the way in which you're managing your sales pipeline or your sales strategy. There are risks, and your organization may have put limitations on the way in which you can use these applications. What do I mean? Well, let's take a look at what Forrester recently said, which is that there are big risks around the use of generative AI. For example, you may accidentally violate contact preferences related to generating and distributing content. What do I mean? Well, there's an organization that is building a system that allows an individual to create a personal avatar of themselves and deliver and have that AI-powered persona deliver a message. Well, that organization went and created a version of a journalist in order to pitch that journalist to cover their company. And they used a talking avatar that journalist talking about the company. That journalist was absolutely livid because they had no rights to create a facsimile or a copy of themselves as part of a pitch. So you need to be careful around some of these security risks. Then the second big area that I know a lot of you may be hearing about, which is data tampering and data getting out of your infrastructure, which is you all as sales professionals have access to piles of sensitive information, proposals, what a customer signed up, what a customer's paying, what's the differentiation of your organization versus the competition. You have to make sure that you are being careful about what information you're feeding to an AI system and what you're getting back. So for example, here at Second Nature, when we create personalized role plays, the information that's proprietary to our customers never leaves our environment. It is simply used as a way in which we can personalize those role plays so that each one of the salespeople or the revenue team members who's practicing gets personalized feedback. So you have to make sure that you're respecting that. So what's the outcome of this? Well, I talked about being this great chef, but if there's an organization limitation, which you need to respect, your quote unquote AI kitchen made up of recipes and ingredients and how to do outreach and your prompts may have more limits than you think. So let's go to what's coming next. And I always like to use something like this to make a point. 10 months ago, I did a presentation around AI in sales. And I wrote a prompt to DALL-E, the first version that was released publicly. And I wanted it to describe to me what it thought Second Nature did. So I wrote, make me an image of a salesperson doing a simulated role play with an AI-powered avatar. And on the left-hand side, you see the image. Well, it's what DALL-E interpreted is a salesperson pitching to an AI. And then on the right-hand side, you see the one that I generated this week. It is mind-boggling how fast some of these technologies are moving. Left-hand side, the lady in the illustration doesn't even have enough fingers. On the right-hand side, you see this literal translation, high fidelity, and this is only over the course of 10 months. So you can imagine where we're going to be going in how you can leverage AI tools in your sales and your sales strategy. So while we've come far and while we're going far, the individuals and the organizations who are taking the most advantage of using AI as part of their sales initiatives are being able to blend craft and science together. Very simply, right? Science is you can repeat the exact same thing hundreds of times over in an experiment, and you can systematize it and make it immensely scalable. We're not there yet with AI because everything that we're doing should have some point of human review. And those that are taking the most advantage of it are blending craft. They're doing experiments. They're documenting their processes. They're documenting the best prompts that they use in order to take advantage of where we are today. So we're not at science yet, but what's a good thing that you can all think about is it's not that much different of what makes up a great salesperson. We all have sales methodologies that we follow, and they've existed for 30 plus years. These sales methodologies are empirically proven that if you follow them, you will do better than someone who doesn't follow a specific documented process. That's the science. But then how come one sales rep who follows a specific sales methodology does better than a second? It's because that individual is also a master of their craft. And merged together, you have excellence. So if you can figure out the best way in which to take advantage of the tools that you have at your disposal and take a technique that you know is getting effective response and making you better with your sales, then you have done the same thing. You have mastered that craft. And where that is today from a statistical perspective, and this is what, again, some more research from HubSpot, is that right now it's all about repurposing messages, content, doing market research, and getting that out in the wild and targeting the individuals with using and leveraging AI-generated content to make sure it's personalized and is also can be done at a mass scale. But as you can see, 9 out of 10 sales pros make sure that they're reviewing the content that they have that's coming out of the AI system. They're not letting the AI system just go and send out email messages all over the place because people can see through that. But it's the craft. It's having the AI generate that first draft, doing a review, maybe changing a couple of things so it's got your voice, and then leveraging that. So what do you need to think about from an analogy perspective of where we are from today's phase of leveraging AI? AI is like an intern. Or, as you may want to think of it, a set of interns, because different AI systems do everything. So, for example, at Second Nature, when you create a role play, you are telling the system, I want to create something for which I want to role play this negotiation with this type of persona. And it will come back with a recommendation of the type of role play and the persona. But then it needs to get refined because you need to be specific. The AI is just doing the first draft of what it thinks. It needs the human area, the human element to refine it, much like a set of interns. And it's very, very key that, like when you're working with an intern, they may be very bright, they may be very focused, but at the same time, all of that information coming from someone like a human intern needs expert review. And that's where we are today. So how do you take advantage of best practices in the phase we are in, the intern phase? This idea that I've posited to all of you, which is you need to take the recipe and make your craft as good as possible, which is one key area is idea and concept exchange. What do I mean? Work in a pair. Go and find another salesperson, another sales rep, another sales development rep, and practice creating some prompts together for some of the personas that you're trying to reach. I want to reach out to the head of marketing in the consumer products area. Write some prompts and look at the ones that are the most effective. What are the ones that get you that response? And then share it with the larger sales team. The other thing that you need to think about is that the market is moving rapidly fast. The tool or the application that may be doing the job for you today may not be the same one that you're using next year or the following year. Why? Because all organizations are moving at a rapid pace in integrating AI capabilities into their applications. What do I mean? About 8 months ago, there were some very good, strong companies who were pure plays who could record a meeting and provide you a meeting summary. Pretty novel idea. Now, 10 months later, you have those capabilities built into Zoom. You have it built into Teams. So all of these capabilities have already been integrated into even some of the day-to-day apps. So while the tool that you're using today may be doing the job, it may not be there in the next 2 years. So think about it in the long term. Look about doing the job today. And then, of course, number 3 is make sure you respect the rules. You do not want your company's data leaving where it's supposed to be And there isn't any defined rules yet on how AI generated content is allowed to be exchanged with another application. So what do I mean? Let's say you're using SalesLoft for your outbound outreach. It generates a message, and then that message may go into HubSpot. Is that AI generated message allowed to be integrated into the HubSpot database? We don't know yet. It's all of these rules are being written. So what can you do for fun? And sometimes you need to look at something outside of just the day-to-day work and how you can learn more about using some of these AI tools. So it could be around story time. What do I mean? Well, have the AI create a story for you and have in your mind of the type of story that you wanted to create and see how well that prompt is working on the output side. One example is our CEO wanted to see how well his prompts were. So he asked ChatGPT, create a negotiation of me with my 7-year-old and what I need to do to get my 7-year-old to bed. And my 7-year-old likes these stories. And it created a role play. And this will get you comfortable and even involve other team members of what works well. You also have some other ones, a joke challenge. Who can come up with the best joke, leveraging your AI system, and then share it in between? Have the AI even express itself in a video or audio using one of the tools that I described early in the presentation, or even something like song lyrics. These are fun ways in which you can engage with one another. You can leverage AI tools, and it doesn't need to be overly technical. And then you can share best practices on what worked and what hasn't worked. So I want to take a pause and talk about where we're going. And I have a poll coming up because I want to get everyone's feedback. And feel free to ask me any questions. But where phase 1 was all about the intern phase, phase 2, which is right ahead of us, is what we like to describe as the delegate phase. So now if you can use an AI system that may be sitting underneath some of the applications that you work with on a daily basis for your sales. It's an intern. It does a draft. You need to refine it. But soon you'll be able to delegate entire portions of your workflow to your AI. So what do I mean? Well, let's talk about 2 announcements that have come out from Microsoft and Google, which is they're creating technology using AI where the actual AI can attend the meeting for you. Now, Zoom has a great AI meeting assistant. I don't know if any of you have used it. You can click on it and you can ask it to catch you up on what you've missed. But Google and Microsoft have this vision where an individual like myself could delegate my AI to attend the meeting and even ask questions. So it's a live situation where an individual may be interacting with an AI who's a delegate on behalf of the human that's supposed to be attending this virtual meeting. Mind-bending, but we're getting close to that, if you can believe it. So with this in mind, I want to bring up the poll. So tell me what your reaction would be if one of your buyers sent their AI to stand into your sales presentation. Is it present to the AI as humanly as possible and get some responses from the AI? Decline the meeting and saying, no way, there needs to be a human on this side. I didn't do all this prep work for having to talk to an AI. I have this slide deck I presented. I was ready for the negotiation. Or basically just say, okay, this is getting too crazy. The world of robots have now taken over and I'm done. I'm going to go find a farm in Iowa and I'm going to go live on it. So go ahead, submit some votes. But I know it sounds exceptionally strange, but we're not that far off. And you can see some of these tools and some of these capabilities already being in Google Meet, in Zoom, and in Microsoft Teams. All right, so we've got some votes here. It looks like all of you as sales professionals are gonna digest and say, okay, I'm gonna try to present to the AI as humanly as possible and see how I can move this forward. We do have some people who are now saying I'm going to decline, okay, which is also fine. All right. So we've got some votes on this. And if anything, the takeaway is this is all getting very, very interesting. So things to think about also that is coming for how you can think about your 2025 and 2024 sales strategies is that AI is going to be doing three things, new capabilities. One, it will become multimodal. They say, Russ, what does multimodal mean? Multimodal is that you'll be able to take content from one set of media into another. So imagine taking your written sales pitch and asking the AI to create a video of your sales pitch in a 3-minute video about it. That's multimodal. Imagine taking videos and PDF files and saying, create a training for me for which will test me on how well I know this content. That's multimodal. We're also going to multilingual. One of the limitations around this phase one of AI, it is on a percentage basis trained better in English than other languages. But we're very rapidly getting to a multilingual or global environment where the AIs are being expanded to translate into different languages and also to understand cultural differences. So I was at a talk about 3 weeks ago, and the head of learning and development of one of the top 5 pharmas in the world stated that their organization has created their own AI system, which allows any employee to create a message or content from one language to another in order for it to be digested and consumed by other employees in another country or even partners in another country. But what it also does, it is also trained on being culturally sensitive. So if someone uses a specific term in English that may not be culturally sensitive to an individual, let's say in another country like Germany or Italy, it will come back with a warning on it. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to, one, cut tens of millions of costs into translation services that they spend on an annual basis, but also provide the power of AI to any country in any language across the board. Pretty interesting and pretty compelling from an initiative from a company of that size. And then finally, multi-memory. So what does that mean? Is that phase one AIs don't have a long-term memory. They may not remember the prompt that you wrote last week or 2 weeks ago, or it may just be managed in your ChatGPT history. Multi-memory is that the systems now will come back and say, hey, Russ, I know you asked me for this email message to target this head of marketing, but I wrote some for you about a year ago, and these were the ones that you used. Do you want me to reuse those for you, or do you want to do something from scratch? This would be without me having to ask the AI to go get that for me. Or, for example, what you're seeing is also in training, it won't only be able to assess an individual on how well they know a role play on an individual or a single type of content, but it may be able to present a total view of that individual. A year ago, you weren't very good at the negotiation. Now I just saw that you did the negotiation again, and you've increased by 200%. much like you would when you track yourself at a gym. It has all the history over time and how well you're doing over a long period of time. So what are some of the takeaways? I've been talking a lot for the last 30 minutes. So to go back to what I've covered, and I'd love to hear any of your questions, how can you differentiate yourself as a sales leader, as an individual salesperson, or a sales development rep, leveraging craft, practice, best practices, merged with the science of what's coming out of that system. Collaborate together. It's all about best practice sharing right now. There is no 100% certain way in which you can take, in which how all of this can be done, and it's changing on a monthly basis. And 3, if you think the last 12 months was exciting, wait till you see the next 12 months. It's going to be quite interesting on all the different systems, the new applications, the integration between applications, the ethics, the biases. And know that, remember, the AI is not you. It's an assistant. It's a co-pilot. And it's a support tool that you can use just like any tool that you use. And it's up to you to use responsibly. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. There are numerous number of best practices and ways in which sales teams have been able to leverage AI. But Eduardo, do we have any questions?
We do. Stephanie sent a question in the chat. She's asking, can you give us examples of how you've seen AI being used effectively by other sales teams?
Yeah, so there have been some really strong research done by Reggie that the way in which you can leverage Reggie gets an increased percentage of response rate from the emails by 200 to 300%, obviously because they're not only personalized, but they also take into consideration the behavioral aspects of that individual. So what do I mean? Is that there may be an analysis done that Russ Zach likes data. So the AI will write a message for Russ Zach that's more about data than for Stephanie, who likes something that may be more humorous with maybe one piece of data. Here at Second Nature, we've seen that the onboarding time of using AI as a way to train and role plays can cut onboarding time for sales agents or sales reps by 33%. So if you can imagine if you normally have a 3-month onboarding time to get that individual and cut it by a month into just 2 months, you've got a more productive account executive, and the organization is creating pipeline faster and closing more deals. And we've seen that in companies like GoHealth, companies like Zoom. So that's one other area that we've seen in order to give a pitch for what we do here at Second Nature.
Awesome, thank you. Tammy is asking, how do you recommend encouraging those in your organization to adopt the use of AI?
The way in which to do it is that you should create some type of business case. And that business case should be fairly well defined. This is what we've like to use the AI for. These are the individuals that I've recruited who would like to be part of this project. These are the tools that we're going to be using. Describe what the project is, and these are the results that we're targeting. So what do I mean? Is let's say you want to use AI to create videos for sending out specific customized videos to customers as a thank you, or possibly as a result. This is how well your organization has done after using our product. Pick a set of customers who are willing to participate in the test, pick the technology, and make sure there is a 1 to 2 page business case that simply says, this is what we're going to do. These are the people that are going to be involved. These are the tools we're going to use. And you may need to do some security check and background to make sure that the information used is only going to be in the right people's hands, and use that as part of your pitch. So think of it as a sales presentation, but an internal one.
Awesome. We have one more. Angelica is asking, we'd love to hear your thoughts on standing out in a world where everyone now has the stack in their hands, things like prompts, specific approaches, and customized engagement methods.
And so the question specifically on the best practices or the process, Eduardo?
I think it's in the process.
Okay.
It's standing out, yeah.
Yeah. So the first thing is making sure that you have the right licenses or use that's approved by the company to use some of these tools. Once you have that tick done, the best is to, again, put together some kind of scope that you're saying, okay, we are going to all be assigned different areas of responsibility. Maybe one individual is going to write a certain type of prompts. Second set of individuals is going to be set a second set of prompts, and then put that together in a collaboration document. So really saying, okay, what's been most effective? Get feedback from other individuals, and then present the findings even in a team meeting. Hey, I created this pretty interesting way in which I can approach these types of personas using these tools and these techniques. And then do a blind test. Send them out to people who haven't tried it and have them try to repeat the experiment. And then over and over again. And then everybody can be giving their feedback at the same time.
That's a great idea with doing like an A/B test, right? You do half of it with AI created content and then half of it with your own created content. Awesome. Audience, do we have any other questions? Send them in your in the chat or in using the Q&A. I have a question for you, Russell. It's a question that I had for a different panel, and I want to hear your thoughts. We've seen that AI and sales, it's a hot topic right now, and all the companies are trying to catch up with AI. But we also see a lot of fake AI out there, like companies that just stamp a .ai on their website, and they're just like, oh, we are this new AI company. What would you say for people looking for AI tools? What is like, how do you separate a fake AI from a real AI, and how a real AI can help people sales teams do better jobs?
In some ways, it's good for the companies who are, let's call them real AI versus just using the buzzword. We were at a conference and one delegate came over to meet with us and they said, oh, you're actually a real AI company. We said, yeah. What do you mean? Is there fake AI? They're like, well, there's a lot of companies who have added in, but they don't seem to really be doing much in the area, or they're just putting a wrapper around ChatGPT to get some feedback. So it can be good and bad. And what I'm about to mention allows a company to really figure out who has real AI versus fake AI, which is that there's a part of the sales process that has now been added to any organization who's trying to sell in an AI tool. It's an AI ethics and bias evaluation. And that is good because it really does an assessment of the type of AI that the company that's the seller's looking to sell uses. What are the security that they've put in place? And they will receive, a company like us will receive a questionnaire. What type of AI do you use? How do you make sure our data is safe? Which really separates the companies who are in this and have invested in AI for a few years and know the industry versus ones who have just started. So that's a good way for a buyer to assess what's real AI and what's not. But the negative part of it, it does add to the sales process, right? It's like for Second Nature, we sell to a lot of large organizations, insurance companies, and we have an FAQ of 200 questions that we've received that we've had to answer that shows, not only do where core AI is at the core of our business, but also that we have security, that we know exactly where the data is. And that's a way in which to separate the two. So even if you're a small company, just some questions, right? Due diligence questions can help you.
Awesome. There is a question here that I think it's kind of like in the same string. What is your take on salespeople being concerned over AI stealing their jobs?
We're certainly not there yet, stealing their jobs. But you need to see it as the next generation of selling, which is so. Let's call it. There's a portion in history, right? There's pre-ChatGPT and there's post-ChatGPT, right? Which is basically this November 2022 when it came out and before it came out, and the Gartner had a report that buyers really want to do as much as they can digitally, and buyers are much more educated, and a salesperson should never roll back a prospect if they've done their research to make them start at the beginning, and they're more educated, and salespeople really need to be ready for the nuances. Mm-hmm. So we're already there in terms of the salesperson becoming that expert, the salesperson being the individual who can make the recommendations. And that's not going away. If anything, the salesperson using AI is going to be able to become more efficient, going to be able to leverage and be able to reach people in a more personalized fashion, while at the same time, the buyer may know that some of the information was generated by the AI, may appreciate the fact that there is that also that transparency. Okay, we did this AI, we did an analysis. This is some of the information that came out by the AI. This is my interpretation of it for you. And this is what I think you should be doing if you would like to do business with our organization.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I read somewhere a very interesting line that says like AI is not going to steal your job, because we need to look at AI as not AI is a tool, and what AI does is get you from a creator to an editor, and then I think that's the key when people realize that you need to edit what the AI is doing, is the key. We have another question. What organization facilitates the AI ethic and bias evaluation?
There are some organizations that are focused on what we call ethical AI. So there's an organization in New York. It's led by a company called Retrain.ai, and they have been leading the charge around making sure that any of the AI systems that are used as part of an HR function, which is basically most, are properly vetted. And they even have examples of questions that you can be asking. And if you'd like, I have the set of questions. I would more than happy be sharing with this audience some of the questions that we see that are done as part of the due diligence process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll make sure to include those questions in the follow-up email. Awesome. I don't think we have any more questions. Audience, any other questions? If you want, you can put in the public. But Russell, thank you so much. Oh, no, just thank you. Thank you, Russell. Tell me saying thank you. Thank you so much for all your knowledge. Thank you, Second Nature, for sponsoring this event. Audience, if you like what Russell shared with us today about Second Nature, there is a request a demo with our sponsor button at the top of this page. You can click there, and the Second Nature team will make sure to get in touch with you pretty soon. Other than that, this is all for today. Russell, thank you so much. Thank you, Second Nature. Audience, thank you for joining us. You are the best part of MSP. You always make those events really fun. You will receive an email from me later today with the link for the recording, some resources that Russell mentioned during the event. And that's pretty much it. Russell, again, thank you so much. Everyone saying that it was really great. So you did a great job today.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
On the stage.
Yeah. Happy selling. All right.
All right. Bye
Okay.
bye. See you later. Bye bye.